The Pact of Power: how demonic assistance unlocks supernatural authority over wounds, words, and worlds. Let's go deeper now. You've already been introduced to the idea that some of the most powerful forces guiding your life are not angels wrapped in gold, but ancient beings cloaked in shadow. If you're still watching, it means something inside you has remembered. It means you've stopped fearing the dark and started listening to what it's trying to show you. That's the first sign of a real chosen one. You don't run from what others call evil. You observe it, you question it, and eventually you wield it. Because here's what no one wants to admit: power doesn't come from bypassing darkness. It comes from mastering it. And if demons are assisting you, they're not doing it for your comfort. They're doing it to awaken your command over your own soul. The fifth sign that demonic forces are working with you is your ability to turn pain into power almost instantly. Most people drown in their wounds for years, but you alchemize it. You experience betrayal, heartbreak, loss, and instead of collapsing, you transform it into art, into wisdom, into magnetic presence. That's not just resilience. That's sorcery. Demons are master alchemists. They don't remove your pain, they show you how to recode it. They teach through fire. If you've ever found yourself thanking your darkest moments, realizing that they made you more powerful than your happiest ones, that's not just healing. That's evidence of training. Your wounds became keys. Your tears became salt for ritual. And your scars, they became sigils, energy-etched markings of your initiation through fire. The sixth sign is your relationship with words. Words don't just feel like communication for you, they feel like spells. You notice how people shift when you speak. You've always sensed that saying something with intention can shape outcomes. Maybe you've written things that came true. Maybe you've spoken things in anger or passion that created real consequences. That's not coincidence. That's activation. Demonic intelligences operate through vibration. They don't care about grammar or politeness, they care about charge. When you're walking with them, your voice becomes a tool of reality manipulation. That's why your silence is often more powerful than most people's speeches. That's why you're drawn to mantras, chants, invocations, because deep down, you know you were born to speak reality into form. You don't need a pulpit, you are the pulpit. And every sentence you utter is a spell being cast, whether you realize it or not. The seventh and final sign, the one most will deny, reject, or suppress, is this: you've had moments in your life where you felt possessed by something greater than you. In moments of rage, creativity, decision-making, or even love, you felt yourself step aside and something else take over. Not in a way that felt harmful, in a way that felt inevitable. Like this force didn't want to destroy you, it wanted to move through you. That's not psychosis. That's not imagination. That's collaboration. Possession, in its true form, is not a Hollywood horror trope. It's a sacred merging. It's when an ancient energy temporarily fuses with your system to execute a function your human self isn't yet trained for. It might be to protect you. It might be to make a decision that shifts your entire timeline. Or it might be to deliver a message that your soul had been suppressing. If this has happened to you, don't fear it. Study it. Ask yourself, what was I doing right before it happened? What did it want me to see? Let me ask you now, with no filters, no spiritual fluff, what if the demons you feared were not here to trap you but to train you? What if they're not bound to hell, but to truth, and the only hell is the one we live in when we abandon our real power? What if you were never meant to be saved, but to become the one who walks into darkness and commands it to kneel? The signs are all here, and now you know them. But knowing is not enough. What happens next changes everything. The final unveiling, what demons demand in return and why most chosen ones fail after awakening. Now that you've seen the signs, 7 undeniable fingerprints of demonic assistance, you may think the work is done. It's not. This journey isn't about collecting mystical experiences or validating your uniqueness. It's about what you do after you awaken. Because once you realize that demons are not your enemies but your initiators, everything changes. You no longer see the world through the lens of duality. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, think in layers. But this awakening comes with a price. Demons don't serve you for free. They don't feed your ego. They don't flatter. They demand. Not in the way humans do with guilt or greed, but with divine clarity. They demand what most chosen ones are unwilling to give: total alignment, not perfection, not purity, but ruthless self-honesty. And that's where most fail. The first thing demons require is that you stop lying to yourself. That sounds simple, but think about how many micro-lies you tell daily about what you want, who you are, what you tolerate. Demons are allergic to deception. The moment you claim to be powerful but act from fear, they step back. The moment you speak your truth but live in contradiction, they go silent. Why? Because these entities operate through energetic integrity. They are not moral. They don't care if you meditate or eat clean or wear white robes. They care about consistency. If you say you want evolution, they'll burn away everything that delays it. If you say you want truth, they'll destroy every lie you're hiding behind. That's their love language, destruction of illusion. And if you resist the purge, you suffer. Not because they're punishing you, but because you're clinging to what they came to remove. The second thing they demand is that you learn to wield darkness without being consumed by it. This is the razor's edge. When you first awaken to these powers, the ability to influence, to seduce, to manifest, to destroy, it's tempting to misuse them, to manipulate, to dominate, to test how far you can go, and they will let you. For a while. But then they will teach you the difference between force and command. Force is what the uninitiated use. It's loud. It's reckless. It leaks energy. But command? Command is silent. It's sovereign. It doesn't need to prove anything. It is. Demons assist those who move in silence, who act with precision, who don't chase validation. If you can't handle that responsibility, they will humble you fast. They'll wreck your illusions, expose your shadows, and force you to rebuild from truth. It's not cruelty. It's calibration. The third demand is perhaps the most sacred. You must serve something greater than yourself. This is where many fall. They think demonic power is about ego, about becoming untouchable, feared, worshipped. But demons don't serve the ego. They serve purpose. They are ancient intelligences bound to cosmic order. If you're not aligned with a mission greater than your own gain, they will abandon you. Or worse, they'll let your ego inflate until it implodes. You must ask yourself daily, what am I building? Who am I becoming? What legacy am I anchoring into this world? If the answers are rooted in fear, vanity, or chaos, they'll burn it down. But if they're rooted in clarity, courage, and contribution, they'll open gates you didn't know existed. That's how they operate. They destroy what's hollow to make room for what's eternal. So let me ask you now, no filters, no mysticism, just raw truth. Are you truly willing to be seen by your own soul? To live without illusion, excuse, or apology? You walk hand in hand with darkness, not because it's edgy, but because it's your natural habitat. Because if you are, then you're not just a chosen one. You're a vessel of the veil, a bridge between realms, a guardian of forbidden wisdom. And that means your life is no longer about comfort. It's about consequence. Every choice you make echoes across dimensions. Every word you speak becomes a thread in the grid. You are no longer playing the human game. You are reshaping it. But there's one more thing. The last truth. The final test. The demon within, why the final ally is you, and what happens when you fully merge with your shadow sovereignty. This is the part no one tells you. Not the gurus, not the mystics, not the ancient scrolls that play it safe with metaphor. Because what lies beyond the awakening, beyond the signs, beyond even the assistance of demons, is the most difficult truth to swallow. The final demon is not outside of you, it is you. The part of you that you've spent lifetimes avoiding. The part of you that remembers every wound, every betrayal, every suppressed desire, every time you silenced your truth to survive. That demon is not evil. It is unclaimed power. It is your unintegrated shadow, your raw potential, your true voice buried beneath fear, shame, and programming. When you stop projecting the demon onto the world and start facing it in the mirror, your entire reality rewrites itself. That's when the assistance ends and the merging begins. To merge with your inner demon is to step into what I call shadow sovereignty. It is not about being possessed. It is about becoming whole. You see, demons have been assisting you not because they want to control you, but because they recognize themselves in you. They see the spark of cosmic rebellion in your aura. They see the fracture in your soul that mirrors their own exile. They are drawn to you because, like them, you were banished from innocence before you were even born. And so they guided you through destruction, through chaos, through fire, hoping that one day you would reclaim what you are. That day is now. But merging with your shadow sovereignty requires a death, not of your body, but of your identity. You must let go of the version of you that was built to survive. The version that played small, sought approval, feared rejection. That self must be burned on the altar of your own becoming. Once you allow the merge, something terrifying and beautiful happens. You begin to feel limitless. Not in a delusional, egoic way, but in a deeply embodied sense. You realize nothing outside of you has power over you anymore, not opinions, not systems, not even fate. You begin to walk with a field so dense, so magnetic, that people feel your presence before you speak. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer explain, You embody. You no longer seek permission. You issue it. This is what demons were training you for all along, not to serve them, but to remember the God force within your shadow. You don't need to invoke spirits anymore. You are the invocation. Every breath you take becomes a ritual. Every step you walk becomes a recalibration of the grid. Every decision vibrates across timelines. You are no longer in the game. You are writing it. But here's the final paradox, and you must hold this with maturity. After the merge, life becomes quieter. Not because it's boring, but because your chaos no longer comes from confusion, it comes from choice. You are no longer being tossed around by invisible forces. You are collaborating with them. You're not reacting to the world. You're realigning it. You become a still point in the storm. People come to you for answers, not realizing they're standing in the presence of one who became the storm to master the silence within it. You don't need to prove your power anymore. You became it the moment you stopped fearing your own reflection. That's what the final demon gives you: not more fire, but still fire. Not more chaos, but conscious chaos. Not more signs, but command. So let me ask you one final question, and this time, ask it not with your mind, but with the part of you that's been waiting behind the veil. If you stopped running from your own darkness, what would you become? If you stopped denying your pain, your power, your presence, what kind of world would bend around your frequency? What if the demon you feared was never your enemy, but your origin? What if the final gate wasn't guarded because it was never locked? You were the key. You are the gate. You are the summoner, the summoned, and the spell itself. This is not the end. This is your unveiling. You are not just the chosen one. You are the dark chosen one. And the demons? They didn't come to save you. They came to remind you that you never needed saving, only remembering. Now walk, and let the world feel what happens when a sovereign shadow finally steps into the light, not to escape the dark, but to reign from within it.